yeah, this is going to be the bonus episode of There Can Be Only One. Only this has nothing to do with anything other than Kevin and I are just huge fucking fanboys of Star Wars.
And we're going to spoil the shit out of that movie that just came out.
Yeah, prepare yourselves. There are fucking spoilers. This whole episode is going to be a spoiler.
Yeah, it's literally just us talking about this movie.
So
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, and if you have not seen the new Star Wars: The Last Jedi, do not listen to this episode until afterwards.
Yeah, for real.
So,
and then come back and listen to it because I'm sure you're going to enjoy it.
So getting to the meat of it, Carl, Rick Grimes' son, dies. Oh shit! Wrong. Sorry. Wait, do you follow The Walking Dead?
I don't.
Okay, good. So I didn't spoil anything for you.
Did he really die?
Yeah, he got bit by a zombie, so he's pretty fucking dead.
Good, finally, dude. I hate that kid.
Now I'm gonna have to be a fucking dickhead and like give people like pre-record a warning before the warning.
Yeah, exactly. If you haven't seen Star Wars, then we're gonna spoil it. Oh, by the way, here's a Walking Dead one randomly.
Right. Yeah.
Good
so
job. Does anyone even watch that show anymore? Damn.
I think I'm the only one. My brother still watches it only to tell everyone how much it sucks.
Smart man.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna get into that. Anyways, Star Wars.
Fucking Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
So we both saw it like at identical times almost, which was weird, being hundreds of miles apart. I spent the weekend in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
So that was rad, but I liked it.
Yeah.
It got a lot of hate.
A lot of hate.
Yeah.
I did not see one good review.
The big word that I saw popping up was underwhelming.
Yeah.
And I was overwhelmed by the movie.
That was The Force Awakens for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I left the theater seeing The Force Awakens being so excited that I saw it. And then once it soaked in, I was like, that was kind of lame.
Yeah, right? Like on the rewatches, it's a fun movie, but...
I've watched it a handful of times still.
I've seen it maybe like 2 or 3 times outside of when I saw it in the theaters. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it was good. It was what it was. It was good to reintroduce people to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Especially for a younger generation. But this one blew that one out of the water.
Yeah, this was... let's give it a 5-star rating. Like, what do you give it 1 out of 5 stars?
I would say solid like 4.
Yeah.
Maybe, probably like a 4. I mean, it wasn't a perfect movie.
No.
But it was definitely good. I
think I'm right there with you with the 4. I'm only not giving it a 5 because the best Star Wars movie gets the 5.
Yeah.
What do you think's the best out of every single Star Wars movie made?
I would have to say Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Followed closely by Rogue One, in my opinion. I really liked Rogue One.
Rogue One. I think Rogue One for quality and acting and story was the best. Mm-hmm. That was the one Star Wars movie where when it was over, I was like, I'm really sad that I had to know that story, but I definitely needed to know that story.
It was the only one where the good guys died.
Yeah, every
single
one of them. Yeah. So, yeah, for me, it's...
Speaking of dying, fucking Luke.
Yeah.
Whoa.
In the coolest wizard way ever.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he Okay, so, this movie starts out... Well, okay, Force Awakens ends.
Let's rewind. Let's break this movie down from beginning to end.
Totally.
All right. But Luke does die.
Luke does die. But
at the end.
So we leave off Force Awakens with that epic scene of her handing in the lightsaber.
Just a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
In Luke's eyes.
Yeah, and the music playing. It's like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
He just got brought back to this thing that he escaped. What's he gonna do? First fucking scene, he throws the lightsaber off a cliff. He's like, nope.
He just chucks it and walks away.
Yeah, dude, doesn't even care. That was very good.
I couldn't stop laughing when that happened because you were the one who hit the nail on the head. But when you're like, he's Yoda now. He's a fucking hermit.
Yeah, he's totally a hermit, crazy guy.
He gives no fucks.
Mm-hmm.
His social skills are gone.
He only has those nun type things.
Like
I don't know what they were.
They look like they're straight out of that movie.
Like Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal,
yeah,
yes.
They look like they're Dark Crystal a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that scene, and then I thought what I was so happy about, this was literally when the movie started and they're fighting, what was that ship called again?
The Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought. And that's how the movie opens.
Yeah.
Is that battle scene?
Yeah, they're trying to evacuate this planet.
Yeah.
The Resistance is. They're trying to evacuate. There's so little numbers of the Resistance left.
Yeah. The First Order's done a way better job than the Empire did of snuffing out any resistance.
Yeah, and then we get introduced to this like mega Star Destroyer thing called a Dreadnought.
Yeah.
That's basically just supposed to chill back and bombard a planet, essentially.
It's kind of a miniature Death Star. Without blowing up the planet, it'll take care of the surface.
Yeah, I mean, you were able to see the explosions caused by it from space. So, obviously, very big-time damage. But
my feeling during that is, and I'm going to sound really lame, but when I was watching that, I was like, this is Star Wars. Like, this is when it's at its best, aside from, like, a Jedi... Sith.
Yeah, Jedi, Sith, lightsaber battles.
Those are the best.
That's where it
but
is
I mean, I watch it a lot for the battles in space, like when they're fucking ships going after each other.
You know, it actually really surprised me too. Like, I'm pretty sure it was that opening scene, the big Star Wars, fighting.
Yeah.
Most of the scenes that you see in the trailers.
Yeah.
Of, dogfighting in space. That was all the opening scene of the movie. Like, they had one big part in the trailers was showing Kylo Ren, like, with his finger hovering over.
Oh, yeah, because...
Yeah, about to blow up the bridge of the ship that Leia's in, and they have that connection. They feel each other. Well, the trailers nailed it. Those weren't two separate occasions. That did happen.
Yeah.
And Kylo takes his finger off the trigger because he couldn't bring himself to do it. And then the two TIE fighters that were following him were like, fuck that, we're going to do it.
Yeah,
and they fucking blow up that bridge, send Leia into space.
Yeah.
And then finally it happened. She showed her Skywalker tendencies.
Yes, Leia used the Force.
Leia used the Force. It was amazing.
It was, and
cheesy, but amazing.
And we got to say this too, because Poe's mission in the opening scene was to take out basically the anti-aircraft,
so that they could all escape.
Exactly, and Leia gives him the order, like, you did good, like, we need to pull back now though because we escaped, and Poe says no.
Yeah,
he's like,
we don't get many opportunities to take out a dreadnought.
No, and so he goes forward with the initial mission, takes out the surface aircraft missile, and this was another really cool scene, is they bring out the bombers.
Yeah, those bombers were really cool.
Really cool. And these bombers are flying over to the dreadnought, and they just start getting their asses handed to them.
Yeah, one blows up, and then there's a chain reaction with sending bombs out and hitting the rest of them.
And this is resistance bombers. So they're going to bomb this dreadnought to take the dreadnought out. And there's that one chick who's like kicking the fucking thing.
Yeah, she's kicking it to make the detonator fall down because she fell because there's explosions everywhere.
I was trying to remember because when she was feeling that like medallion that she gave to her sister, who was like comes in later.
It was the other half of it. It was like a yin yang.
So it was okay. And what I was wondering is,
that bitch died.
The guy from Rogue One, who the keepers of the. They're not Jedis. They were like the keepers of that.
Oh, you're talking about like Chirrut Imwe and Baze Malbus?
Yeah, and I was like, I wonder if that's like something from that, because they were like a different religion separate from Jedi. They were like they were the keepers of those
of the stones or whatever.
Yeah, that make a lightsaber. So I was I'll have to look into that further. I'll see if that plays into it at all. But
are you just saying that because they were both Asian? Damn it, Steve.
This is Trump's America now.
This is Trump's America. we got them Asians blowing up our ships again.
China. So anyway, so she, in a heroic effort, does actually land the bombs, blows up the dreadnought.
She dies.
But the point is, Poe does survive. He's the only one that survives.
I think there was like maybe him, like they showed a screen of how many ships were lost, and like out of, I think there was like 12 or something on the screen, like there was like 1 or 2 left.
Yeah, and Leia
straight up smacks this dude.
He fucking smacks Poe across the face, like a mother, kind of like a mother disciplining her child. Like
she's the mother of the resistance, man.
Yeah, and Poe is like, a lot of good heroes died. And she said a lot of heroes, but no leaders. And I was just like,
Damn.
yeah. So that was pretty intense. And for Star Wars, very like insightful and very like that's one thing I want to say about this movie is the writing was so much better than your average Star Wars movie. There's so many things tied in, so much like things that were just really deep, and the acting was really good. And but yeah, so anyway, like we'll move on from that. So they're now stuck running away.
Yeah, they're...
Oh, because they travel light speed, and then the Dreadnought finds them. Or not the Dreadnought, but the Snoke ship.
The giant ship. Just apparently they find this way to track through hyperspace.
But that's what they said is they're on a string, so we know where they're going. And did they ever explain how they knew?
Essentially, my understanding of that was they were able to follow them through hyperspace. That was their big weapon, I guess.
Okay.
So that they couldn't run. So they are on a string.
Yeah.
If they went on in light speed this way, we do too.
Okay.
So, and they were able to track and know when to stop, when to pull out and everything.
Okay.
Because, yeah, they thought they got away, and all of a sudden more ships of theirs are blowing up because here's this huge ship with Snoke on there.
Yeah. Snoke likes things bigger.
Dude,
I've
Snoke's
noticed.
throne room. How dope was that throne room?
Well, if you think about it, the fucking Star Killer or Star Destroyer or whatever that was in the Force Awakens.
The Star Killer base?
Yeah. Way bigger than the Death Star.
Yeah, it was a planet.
And then you get to his ship. Way bigger than the Emperor ship.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a small dick.
Probably.
He probably doesn't have a dick.
I mean, whatever happened to his face probably happened to his dick, too.
Yeah. And if his dick looks like his face...
I mean,
there's a lot to compensate for.
I would need a lot of whiskey, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
No.
But I'm saying I would need a lot of whiskey.
So, hey, $20 is $20.
Hell yeah, dude.
But, all right, so basically what happens is they blow up the Dreadnought, and then they fucking, they go into light speed. And then it goes back to Kylo, and you're going to have to help me with the names.
General Hux.
General Hux. Who gets trolled by Poe in the opening scene.
Oh, my God, I totally forgot about that. I'm on hold for Hux. This message is for his mom.
Hux is giving this fierce, intimidating fucking, I am General Hux, and we will take no prisoners, and this and that. And then, like, Poe's just like, yeah, I'm waiting for General Hux.
Yeah, Poe is a really cool character.
I'm really
glad that they were able to touch on his character a lot more in this one.
Totally the Han Solo.
Yeah, he's totally Han Solo Part 2, which I thought was going to go to Finn.
Yeah.
But Finn's a bitch. I still don't like that character.
He's the Luke Skywalker minus the Jedi shit.
Yeah.
He's kind of a whiny bitch.
Whiny bitch. Exactly. But, and once they... I think my timeline's a little messed up, because once they follow them is when that shit with Leia happens... And she uses the Force and goes on there because they had already jumped.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like, we'll put it this way: like, Leia gets shot out of a ship in space, uses the Force to drag herself back into the ship, but she's been in space, so
she's fucked up.
She's fucked up. So they put her in like an incubation chamber to like warm her up and help her, give her time to heal. So with her being out, there's a new commander who comes in.
I cannot remember her name.
Admiral something. Oh, by the way.
The chick from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but all the major commanders from the Empire, the Return of the Jedi, Admiral...
Akbar. Yeah, he's dead.
He dies.
Yeah. They didn't really make a big deal about it other than mentioning it.
It meant a lot to me.
Oh, to me too.
This is the guy. It's a trap. It's a trap. He died. Yeah. So he got blasted.
Yeah, he did not have the Force. He could not come out of space.
So that was pretty upsetting for me. But anyway, like just to kind of get things on track here. So Leia's in an incubation chamber. This new commander has assumed the role, or she's the next in charge.
Yeah,
next in line. Mm-hmm. She's Leia's number 2. And
number 2.
Basically what they find is that their ships, they know they're being tracked. They know that they can't go anywhere, and their ships are running out of fuel. So they know that they can stay out of range
of the Star Destroyer's weapons. Yeah. Yeah,
so they can get hit, but their shields can take it. But they just have to keep at a pace that is...
And all the other ships surrounding them, the smaller ships, they're losing them.
Yeah. So the other ships start to lose fuel and get back in range of the Star Destroyers, and they're just picking them off one by one.
And mind you, this is the last bit of the resistance. This is the last group of people.
Yeah. It's
not some rebel base somewhere that has reinforcements. This is the last of the resistance.
Yeah.
About to get taken out by Snoke. So they're trying to figure out, how the fuck do we get out of this? And they come up with a solution.
Well, they lead you to think that there's no solution. Because Poe goes up to the new commander and says, "What's the plan? What are we going to do?" And she's like, "I'm sorry, but Leia's last orders was demoting you."
Yeah, and I don't need some trigger-happy flyboy.
Yeah. And she puts Poe down. She's like, "You need to... I'm done. Like, I don't answer to you. Get the fuck out of my way." At that point in time, I thought that she was like the string.
You thought that she was like a bad guy?
I thought she was like selling.
It totally gave that vibe.
Yeah, because she wasn't giving much. She wasn't giving any information, and she was kind of running him out of fuel. But so long story short, you take on this part. Like,
okay, so they contact. Oh shit! What was her name? Maz, I think her name was.
Maz. Yeah, Maz.
Yeah,
who's a fucking rad character.
Dude, it doesn't even show what she's doing, like how she got in the situation she's in, but they're like communicating her through the hologram.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And she's just like shooting at people, getting shot at,
there's
like
some
kicking some ass.
Dispute, or she's like, this is some mining negotiation, like totally downplays it. She's
like, it's just a Tuesday. You know? Like, it was fucking crazy. But she basically is like, I know somebody who can get into Snoke's ship because Finn is aware of where they keep their tracking devices, I guess, on that ship, because being part of the First Order before, he knows that it's coming off of one ship, and they need to disable it long enough for them to get away. Yeah. Otherwise, if they just destroy it, they'll just move the tracker to something else.
Basically, they can't use light speed again, because if they do, First Order's going to be right behind them.
And then they'll be out of fuel.
So they're running out of fuel. Time's limited. They need to get rid of the tracking device so that they can use light speed to get anywhere.
Exactly, and they just need that small window where they aren't able to track them.
Exactly.
So Finn and his newfound romantic connection, I guess.
Yeah, there's a new girl.
Yeah, I can't even remember her name. It was the sister of the bomber.
Yeah.
So she has the other side of that necklace.
And I will say this, the scene where she catches him trying to jump ship had me laughing so fucking hard. Because she's like, "You're like a hero." And he's like, "Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I kind of am."
Yeah.
What are you doing checking the escape pods by entering them? And then she shocks him.
Yeah, she tases him.
And that's when they kind of communicate and figure out how they're being tracked, because they're both intelligent.
This is the second time Finn's tried to bail.
He's kind of a bitch.
He is, because he wasn't bailing for any...
Yeah, from the First Order in the first one, he bailed because he's a pussy.
And then this one, he's bailing because he has the beacon. Rey is... The only way she can find where they are when she's done...
Because she's with Luke.
Is this beacon, and Finn's like, Rey's going to show up, fall right in the hands of the First Order, and be taken. So he's going to take the escape pod to go catch her and just say, "Hey, everything's fucked. We lost."
Yeah.
And so and this chick catches him. She's I
do not remember her name.
I don't even. Yeah, I don't either. She comes into play quite a bit. Is kind of teaching Finn to be courageous. It's kind of like he never knows when to be courageous, because that's what the whole last scene was about. It's like, no, this is not the time to be brave. This is the time to regroup.
Again, I don't like Finn. I think he's a little bitch all the time.
Her character, and I'm going to say this and probably get shit for it, her character was so Disney to me.
Yes.
That's
a good way of putting it.
Yeah, she was very Disney. So anyway, Poe, Finn, and this girl work out a plan to go. They talk to Maz.
Yeah, and they need to find this code breaker on this planet. That's a gambling planet, which I thought was really cool. That planet was like the Vegas of planets almost.
Yeah,
but for high rollers.
It was,
and there was a lot of hilarious scenes on that one. So while this is happening, it goes over and shows what's going on with Rey.
Yes.
And Rey is, she finds Luke. Mm-hmm. He throws a lightsaber, and she just kind of like follows him around until she gets her answers.
Yeah.
And
let's just mention too, like Luke is kind of snubbing her the whole time.
Oh yeah, he does not want anything to do with it.
No,
that's why he's there.
Yeah.
In fact, what was the quote he said? He said,
"So do you think I came to the most unfindable place for no reason?"
Yeah, exactly. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
But she refuses, so she brings her boy Chewbacca in.
Yeah.
Because I guess he was on the Falcon as well, and that was a sad scene.
When he says Han,
he's like, "Where's Han?"
Yeah.
It's like, oh man,
you forget
right there in the fields.
Yeah, you forget that he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm. So they're just playing their little cat and mouse game of, hey, you should train me. Hey, you shouldn't. No.
Something else happens too, though. We realize that Rey and Kylo are connected.
That's right. While she's doing her thing, all of a sudden it cuts to Kylo Ren doing his thing, and they both look at the camera. And they start talking to each other. And they can actually see each other.
But they can't see their surroundings.
Right. They can only see each other.
That was shot so cool.
Yeah, too. I really liked that whole thing.
Because it left you guessing, like, because you're with them, because they even asked the questions. Can you see where I am? Mm-hmm. Like, can you?
Yeah, because it just randomly happened. Where they just look over it, and there's your enemy.
Yeah, and they get
where,
talking.
Oh, they get talking a lot, and that's where they find out, like, well, what happened to that Jedi Academy, I guess you could call it, or whatever Luke had going on, where he was training people, and that's where he was training young Ben Solo, and they just start going through what happened. Kylo has his end of the story, Luke has his end of the story.
And there are two sides to the story.
There are two sides to the story, and it's cool that they actually filmed both sides.
And what's cool too is this is where Star Wars gets deep. Is there's two sides to the story, but it's usually somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. That's the truth, and that's exactly what this was. Yeah,
it's exactly what it was, because what they showed Kylo Ren's perception of the events first.
Yeah.
And
well, no, they showed Luke's. Luke said that he went to confront Kylo, and it only shows Luke going to confront Kylo and Kylo.
Oh yeah,
bringing
the.
He uses the Force and collapses a structure on top of Luke. While so Kylo's sleeping in his little bunk.
It's little dorm room.
Yeah, his little dorm room. Luke goes into the dorm room to fondle. No, I mean.
Holy shit! You almost got beer all over your microphone just now, dude.
So he goes into the dorm to quote unquote confront Kylo. And Kylo's sleeping.
And he was saying Snoke had already gotten a hold of him.
Snoke had already infiltrated Kylo's mind. Kylo wakes up seeing Luke stand over him with his penis.
God damn it.
So Kylo sees Luke standing over him and uses the Force to collapse a structure on Luke. And then Luke said he woke up and
Kylo thought he was dead.
Kylo thought he was dead. The building's on fire, and the academy itself away.
Yeah, he took some of the students with Kylo. Took some of the students with him.
Yeah,
which are named the Knights of Ren.
Which
even though
I'm not sure if that's who it was in the end scene. We talked about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
this is all Kevin and I have talked about.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
but he took a number of people with him. Kylo did, and then they all slaughtered the rest of the students.
Yeah.
So apparently this was a big place, because people are getting slaughtered, people are turning, changing sides and shit. So
fucking
that
pussies.
was, yeah, right.
Did they not see episode 3?
Keep kids away from lightsabers.
Yeah,
they're gonna die. Watch your kids around the Force.
Are you suggesting that we should not have the Second Amendment and our protection of?
I really think it's something that you can't just put onto one system. You got to consider the entire galaxy.
So we should have lightsaber control.
To an extent.
I think a background check.
I think fully automatic lightsabers.
Yeah.
There's no real point to those.
We kind of saw an automatic lightsaber. A little bit.
Oh,
through the guy's eye.
Through the guy's eye. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But so that was the initial perception that was shown, and then Kylo Ren hits her up through that.
Well, she tells him, like,
Yeah.
you killed him, and he's all
this
like,
is what happened.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I was told. And he's like, no, this is what happened.
Yeah.
And it shows
Kylo's perception.
Yeah, Kylo's perception is in the middle of the night, Luke tries to kill him. And it straight up shows Luke with a lightsaber, like about to strike him down.
The green lightsaber.
The green one, that's right. That dope ass green one. I wish that was more recognized. Like that Luke with his green lightsaber, because that's iconic to me. Not the blue. Fuck the blue.
But it's the green lightsaber is drawn as Kylo's sleeping, and
it wakes him up. He looks over, then he uses the Force to grab his lightsaber.
They meet lightsabers,
and that's when Kylo brings everything down.
Yeah.
He said it was like an escape method. He felt threatened, so that's when he took off.
Yeah.
And then the truth of the matter.
So what was in the middle, is that is what happened. But basically, Luke was like, I sensed the darkness in him. I did not think Snoke had already gotten to him. Everything was basically bad, and he said he did draw his lightsaber.
I had a moment of weakness.
I had a moment of weakness where I drew my lightsaber, and he really did think the only way to solve the problem was to kill Kylo.
Because he just saw what his daddy did to the universe.
Yeah, you got to keep that in perspective, too. Like, Luke is kind of in the middle. Like, he's got his his dad and then his nephew, and they're both kind of ready to fuck shit up. And he's like, no, I just fucking stopped this. Not letting you fucking start it again.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so he has that moment of weakness where he does draw his lightsaber, and then he looks at it and he says, as quick as it came, it faded.
Yeah.
Like he's like, it was gone. Like
I didn't want to actually do that. I changed my mind. But Kylo Ren still woke up and saw, Ben Solo, because he wasn't Kylo yet.
Yeah.
Because that's what they were saying, is Luke created Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
But, he wakes up, he sees Luke's lightsaber drawn, and then he attacks.
He considers it an act of betrayal.
Yeah, so
which
he
makes you wonder,
Luke.
how did Snoke actually get to him that much?
Could have been.
I
do wish that more was told about Snoke. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So they find out that that's what's going on there. And then by this time, on the flip side, with the whole Resistance and First Order thing, there's something that we forgot to mention. When they found out, when Snoke was like congratulating General Hux on the whole hyperspace thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was congratulating him on the whole hyperspace thing, and that's when we first
the hyperspace tracking. Like,
the
good
tracking.
job on being able to track them through hyperspace.
And that's when we first see Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren walks in with his mask on.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, this happened well before all that Luke shit, because...
Well, hold on. It's kind of hard because a lot of this shit is happening simultaneously, so there's not really like a flow, but...
This happens before the Leia stuff.
Yeah, and it happens before Rey kind of knows. So let's just put it this way: like a scene happened where they're on Snoke's ship, and stuff.
Yes.
You see Snoke in person. He's no longer a projection. He's saying, "Good job, Hux. Great job."
And then he fucking lays into Kylo Ren.
First, he's like, "How are your injuries?" And
how are they healing? Take off that stupid mask.
Yeah, calls it a stupid mask, and then calls him a stupid boy with a mask.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, you were supposed to be better than this. You're the blood of Darth Vader. That's the only reason why you're here, and got beat by a girl. He says
Darth Vader with such reverence to the Lord Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly, and really puts emphasis on like, yo, this is why you're here, and you're failing.
Yeah,
and you got beat by a girl who's never even touched a lightsaber before.
Yeah.
So.
And so Kylo just kind of takes that.
He takes the beating.
Yeah, and then he goes into the elevator and
has one of his little fits.
Kylo moments, and he
smashes that mask.
And it's a heavy duty mask, and like he bashes it again and again and again until there's like nothing left.
Very symbolic.
Yeah, like that's him saying goodbye to that and he talks about the past too. Like that was kind of the epiphany for him, which I think it foreshadowed what was to come, because he said, you got to confront your past, deal with, or no, not confront it, like just your past is your past. Like, move on.
Yeah,
Get
it's
over
time
it.
for the future.
Yeah, and that's kind of what sets everything in motion.
Because then while they're communicating through the Force, Kylo and Rey,
Yeah.
she's trying to say, yo, I know you have conflict. You know, you still have a chance, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And he's still kind of playing into it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole bit kind of culminates with them touching hands.
Yeah, that's when the epiphany happens.
Yeah, exactly.
They both see into each other.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
But they don't really see
what's going on.
Yeah.
And then Daddy Luke walks in. Busts the door down.
Well, that's at the kind of the end of the training because they were already being trained. So let's dig into the training a little bit. Is Luke said he's going to train her because he does
after talking
R2D2.
Yeah, that's right. He gets on. Luke gets on the Falcon, and he's checking shit out, just reminiscing. He grabs a very important scene. He grabs the dice that were in the cockpit from the Falcon. Han Solo's dice. And then at that point, he hears beep beep boop.
I'm a shitty Star Wars fan. I forgot what those dice even were.
They were just part of Han Solo's personality.
Yeah.
Nothing significant about them other than that.
I just don't remember seeing them in any other movie.
They were always just chilling, I believe.
Yeah.
But then R2 is there, wakes up, and he's like, yo, what up, dog? Apparently uses some foul language.
Yeah.
Thought that was a funny scene. But he's basically trying to convince Luke that, this needs to happen. You need to help.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool because it's like a one-sided conversation because what the fuck do we know what that droid's saying?
Yeah.
And then he's like basically saying, oh, there's nothing you can do to convince me, da-da-da. And then R2 plays the original message from Princess Leia to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Mm-hmm. And that was a cheap move, R2.
Straight up tells R2 just that was cheap. So that's what convinces Luke that he needs to train Rey. And he goes back to Rey, but his training method is different than any other Jedi. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm going to give you 3 lessons, and I'm going to tell you why the Jedi need to end. And like when he said that, I was like, he's like he's not happy about Jedis.
Yeah,
period.
He wasn't about it.
No, and so like lesson... Is it 1 where she immediately goes to the dark side?
Yeah, immediately just went to the dark side.
Yeah, she doesn't like turn evil. It's just the dark side does its thing where it calls you. And he's like, you didn't even try to resist it. You just went right into it.
Yeah.
And he saw that in Kylo. And so,
he wasn't afraid enough then.
Yeah.
And he is now.
Yeah.
Which technically, isn't that the path to the dark side?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But Luke says a lot of really cool shit where there's a lot of cool imagery and things he says about ancient Jedi that never been in any other movie. So that was really cool. But
was it at this point that she found that tree with all the ancient texts?
The ancient texts. I think he takes her there to show her because he does show her some of the ancient texts. But no, he straight up says like the Jedi are wrong. Like this is one. He talks. He is like so much more of a master than any of the other masters because he's to the point where he doesn't think it should exist at all because he says you feel that balance, you understand that balance, and then he kind of goes, that's where the Jedi got it wrong.
Oh, yeah, and he was saying one thing that he said to Rey was, do you understand what the Force is? Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, what did she say? Like moving rocks. And all this. And that's when he starts going into having to relax, meditate, and then it shows all these cool scenes of life happening, and that's when she finds
there's death,
and that's when she finds that pit that's like the dark side and everything like that. And he's like, "Now, do you really feel if the Jedi ended, this would dissipate? Like, this is something that continues. It's not just the Jedi.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with the Jedi."
She said it's a power the Jedi wield.
Yes, exactly.
And he's like, no, the Jedi do not wield. It does not belong to the Jedi.
It does not belong to them. That's right.
Yeah, and that was
belongs to the world.
And that was the wisest thing that I've heard any of the Jedi say. Like, they always treat it like... And if you actually... I was thinking about it, too, is you always hear, a Jedi uses the Force, or a Jedi is one with the Force, and this and that. And Luke's like, no, you abuse it like everyone else does.
There was one other person in the movies who were saying that, yeah, the Jedi, they're kind of... In fact, I think the quote was the dogmatic views of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And that was Darth Sidious when he was trying to turn Anakin.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. That was the only time, two times, where it was told that it was, I don't want to say it was the same speech, but it was very similar, saying that there's more to the Force and to what that is other than just what the Jedi preach.
And they kind of, the underlying theme throughout the whole movie is not everything is black and white. The Jedi are not good because they're Jedi. And it plays into... Fucking Benicio del Toro is in the movie.
Yeah, dude.
Did you know that before?
I did know that he was in the movie, but I didn't know what role he played. I don't know how big it was.
Yeah,
but I knew that he was in the casting somewhere. But I had forgotten by the time this movie came out.
So to just go back to Luke and Rey, like, he's saying, like, this goes both ways. And he doesn't by any means say the darkness is a good place to go. He just says it's a balance, and without the Jedi, the Force still exists. Like, there doesn't need to be Jedi, is kind of his opinion.
Yeah.
And long story short, we just go through real quick just to touch on this. The funniest scene is he says reach out when she's closed and he's teaching her how to use the Force. And he's like,
now reach out.
And she reaches her hand out.
Reaches out.
And he takes he like rolls his eyes. He has this leaf in his hand, like this long, like kind of whipping leaf.
Yeah.
And he starts tickling her hand with it. He's like, do you feel the Force? She's like, oh my God, I feel it. He's like, yeah, that's the Force. And then he fucking whips
smacks her with it. No, that was great.
That was a total Yoda thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hermit Luke Skywalker. Straight up.
Yeah. Which, by the way, hats off to Mark Hamill. His acting got way better.
Oh, yeah, dude. Mark Hamill's a great actor. He's the fucking Joker in the fucking Batman
I know, but he
cartoons,
wasn't
man.
really that great in the...
In Star Wars?
Yeah. No, he was never a great actor. But, so anyway, let's just try and condense this real quick. So long story short, at the end of Luke's training, he catches Rey touching hands
with Kylo, and that's when he's like, you need to get the fuck out of here. Get off this island. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I see this same thing happening to you now.
Yeah.
And after actually a really cool fight, too. Him and Rey ended up fighting.
So, real quick, Rey fucking attacks him with a stick, with her staff.
Yeah, with her staff.
And he uses the Force and, like...
grabs another staff. Yeah. Or grabs hers. That's right.
Did he grab hers or make one?
I think that's why she ended up using the Force and grabbing a fucking lightsaber.
Well, they had a stick fight.
They had a stick fight.
And we learned that Luke is a fucking badass.
Yeah, he doesn't take shit.
A lot of martial arts, but the cool thing is he's also really good at not getting hit. Like, he's just very Tai Chi, like, moving out of the way, dodging shit, and whacks her. But then she pulls out a lightsaber.
And he falls down, and actually it was really cool. He used the Force to make sure that he didn't fall.
That was cool, yeah. He didn't fall. He, like, hovered and then rested.
Now, that was one thing that I did think they messed up a little bit, was when she was... That scene where she's meditating and everything for that first training thing, and she sees the dark side and everything, and she says, I saw all these things about the Force, but I didn't see you.
Yeah.
And they basically were saying, like, he abandoned the Force. He abandoned all of that.
They said he turned himself off to it.
He turned himself off, but he still kept using it, like, more and more.
Yeah.
So it was almost like she was getting him back into it.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball a little bit on that. Like, does he have it? Does he not have it? What's going on?
And that's why you get 4 stars.
That's why you get 4 stars. Right there.
But yeah, no, you're totally right about that. But long story short, so now, where we're at right now is the last of the Resistance is still outpacing.
Yeah, and that's just going on.
Yeah, Finn, and we completely abandoned her. But let's just be quick for the sake of the fact that we're like going long here. Finn and his new friend are on that planet looking for the code breaker. They find a code breaker. They never say if it's the Master, because they do see the one with the lapel.
The red lapel that Maz was talking about.
That they're told that that's the guy, but they find somebody else who's...
I bet you he lost it in a bet.
That's what I'm thinking, too. But they find Benicio del Toro...
In a cell.
Who breaks out of the cell. Turns out he's...
Nonchalantly.
Yeah. So he's the master code breaker, and he's the one that gets you scratching your head, because he's saying that this community they're on, they're saying, oh, it's disgusting how wealthy they are. And they're like, yeah, they're weapons manufacturers.
How else do you make money in this?
Yeah, and so they start just saying, well, they sell weapons to the First Order. And there's a later scene where Benicio del Toro's scrolling through this ship they stole from one of the weapons dealers.
And it's like going through transactions.
And he's like, let's see what this guy's done. And he starts, and you see nothing but First Order ships.
You see AT-ATs, you see, TIE fighters, and then all of a sudden...
An X-Wing.
Yeah, and he finds an X-Wing.
He's like, both of you... He's kind of this guy who's in the middle, who's like, I don't take a side because both of you guys just keep blowing each other up. Mm-hmm. And that's...
It's just business to him.
Yeah, it's just business. So that comes into play later. But anyway, let's just fast forward. Let's say they do get onto Snoke's ship.
Yeah, they finally, they get the code breaker, and then they make their way.
At the same time that Rey goes to Kylo. Mm-hmm. So Rey leaves the island with Luke, and she says, I'm going to Kylo. Like, I can save him. Because Luke doesn't think he's savable.
No.
And he keeps saying that, he failed Kylo. He's like, I failed him, and I created him. He cannot come back. Like, he is what he is. Which is a weird thing for Luke to say. Mm-hmm. But, so Rey goes, and she's like, I'm going to save him. Rey immediately lands on Snoke's ship, sees Kylo. Kylo looks at her and then has her arrested, and they're both taken to Snoke. And at this point in time, let's just catch things up. Poe tries to take away the ship from...
Yeah, he tried to do a mutiny of the Resistance ship, and... At that point, Leia came back.
Well, so he sort of succeeds.
Mm-hmm. He's in the cockpit.
Yeah,
and he's doing his thing, trying to make everything work.
He took the ship back. He's like, and then C-3PO tries to run away. Like,
the door's locked. All of a sudden, the door fucking gets busted down.
Yeah,
and there's Leia, and he's like, "Oh my God, Leia!" And she just straight up shoots his ass.
She stuns him.
Yeah,
brings back the leader, and you're like, "Oh, this lady's no good. Like, she doesn't have a plan." Find out she has a plan.
Yeah, her plan is, and the reason why he did the mutiny was because her plan was to get everyone on board these basically escape pods essentially,
and
but bigger.
Like, they have no shields, they have no defenses.
There's no way they're gonna die.
They're gonna jettison them out, and they're just gonna fucking get
because
slaughtered.
there's a nearby planet that they finally made it to.
They find out that's where they were headed. There's an old abandoned post.
There's an old rebel post. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's gonna keep going and shoot off the pods so that they can make it to the planet safely while the First Order.
Because they're only able to track that size of a ship.
Yeah.
And not the escape vessels.
Exactly, and she was going to sacrifice herself. Mm-hmm. So she was going to keep the ship going while everyone else escapes. So you're like, God, she's a hero.
So that's actually happening. All of that is happening simultaneously while Rey is being taken to Snoke, and while Finn and Benicio del Toro and the one chick are trying to find this tractor beam room, or this tracker room.
Yeah, and they do find it.
They find it, and right when they get in, stormtroopers
arrested
everywhere.
Yeah.
And who do they get taken to? Fucking Captain Phasma.
And she's pissed from the last time,
too.
Yeah,
she is. Oh, yeah, she is.
I forgot what happened.
She got embarrassed last time.
That's right, yeah.
She literally just got snuck up on.
Yeah.
It was dumb. I hated how they handled Phasma in Force Awakens.
So she straight up got her revenge, takes them to this main cargo bay area.
Yeah, basically the entrance of the ship.
And there's just stormtroopers everywhere, and they were gonna shoot them, and she's like, no, that's too good for them.
Let's execute them.
So they get whatever they are. We know that lightsabers can't penetrate them. They're like they're kind of like.
It's almost like that thing that stormtrooper had that was fighting Finn in Force Awakens. So let's stop right there real quick because so many things happen at this
same
one moment.
Yeah.
So while that's happening, let's go over to Rey. Rey is taken to Kylo, or Kylo takes Rey to Snoke.
Yeah.
And we start seeing how badass Snoke is. He wants to know where Luke is.
Yeah, because he thinks Luke is he is literally, and I think it's a cool way to tie it into the original trilogy, is he's saying he is hope. He is the symbol of hope. and the only way that they're going to defeat the Resistance is when they defeat Hope. And so he wants Luke to kill him.
Yeah, and Snoke is literally just lifting his finger and throwing Rey around, getting in her mind.
After seeing what Luke was capable of, I'm pretty sure he could have.
Probably. But here's the thing. Like, Kylo Ren tried to get all that information out of Rey in Force Awakens, and, like, nothing. Snoke got it.
Yeah.
Snoke knows where Luke is.
He, like, throws Rey up in the air and, like, holds her there and just takes all the information.
And initially, she tried to draw her lightsaber. Remember that?
Yeah,
and then he took her lightsaber out of her hand, swung it around her, and hit her in the back of her head with her own lightsaber hilt. So that was cool.
And then, like, did the fucking lightning blast and the ground just...
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was dope as hell, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He gets the information that he needs. And then he turns her around with the Force, holds her in place, and he's like, now Kylo Ren is going to kill you.
Yeah.
I see his every move, and I'm going to tell you how he's going to do it. And he's describing it, and
While Rey's on her knees.
And at this point, Snoke grabbed Rey's lightsaber away from her.
So her lightsaber is on... He's sitting on a throne while this is happening, and her lightsaber is sitting next to Snoke.
And while he's describing everything,
Yeah.
you see Kylo Ren's hand kind of moving around, like, nonchalantly.
Yeah.
And what happens?
He fucking... Okay, so he's moving his hand, and Snoke is like, I feel him turning the lightsaber. I feel him. And so, because he's like saying he can see in Kylo's mind, and Kylo is doing everything that Snoke is saying.
But not to Rey.
But not to Rey. He turns the lightsaber that's sitting next to Snoke, points it towards him with the Force, and then fucking activates it.
Dude.
And Darth Mauls him by cutting him in fucking
straight
two.
up in half, dude.
Like, just
that was
boom,
epic.
You're fucking done. And, like, the thing is, like, Snoke has this look on his face, like...
Well, shit.
And slides, and I love the close-up to him later on, when it just shows his face, and he's just fucking dead.
Dead as fuck.
Yeah.
So at that point, all these rad-ass Imperial guards who...
I don't know if that's the Knights of Ren or not.
It might not be. I mean, their weapons seemed really Jedi, almost.
Yeah.
Because they were able to
and
compete with lightsabers.
they were pretty fucking savvy.
Dude, and they were dope.
Yeah.
They knew how to fight. So then the scene cuts to Rey and Kylo Ren joining forces and taking out all these people.
Yeah.
Some of the coolest lightsaber deaths there were.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rad. That was a really cool fight. Like, neither one of them really seemed like all martial arts like with their shit. They just really seemed like just trying to survive.
Yeah.
But it was epic.
Like, Kylo and Rey are pretty sloppy.
Well, who's topped them?
I know,
Yeah,
but I'm saying, like, I liked it because these guys, and something that was cool is, so they had these staffs that were able to battle a lightsaber, and they're swinging them, and then some of them can whip them, and they turn into fucking whips, so they like whip them.
And some of them broke in half to be two one-handed weapons and shit like that.
But yeah, so Kylo and Rey, let's just that's the coolest fight scene in the movie by far. They fuck up these dudes, like probably like 8 of them or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And then she looks at him and she's like so thankful. She's like, "Oh my God, you
saw the light.
You saw the light. You came back." And he's like, "No, what you saw in me." Oh, we didn't even say Snoke connected.
Oh yeah, Snoke was the one that made them connect. He's like,
he's the
You're
one that
stupid for like you fell right into my trap. This is exactly what I wanted.
So,
I made you guys connect so that you're not he's not strong enough to resist. What did he say? Kylo Ren wasn't strong enough to not speak to you, essentially.
Yeah.
And Rey, you're not wise enough to see past this trap. You're going to come try and save him.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And here you are because I made this happen.
That's why I honestly think there's going to be a love interest with Kylo, because there's that scene where his shirt's off and she's like, "Can you put like a towel on?"
Can you put a cowl on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, they kind of both realize after they kill everyone that they're still not on the same side.
Yeah, he wants to start anew. And with this whole shedding the past thing, he's like, no Sith,
comes full
no
circle.
Jedi, no First Order, no Resistance.
Yeah.
We can rule the galaxy together. Almost Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Exactly what Darth Vader said.
He's like, fuck all this. Like, no more. No more Sith, no more Jedi, no more this or that. Like, there's nothing left. Let's just fucking own it all.
And at that point, they disagree.
Yeah.
They bust out their lightsabers.
Kind of breaks your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, they don't, do they? They fight over the lightsaber.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, because Kylo Ren actually had Rey's lightsaber because of the situation they were in with killing these people. He needed her lightsaber because his was gone, and catches it, blah, blah, blah. She tries to take it back, and now they're, like, disputing over this lightsaber, and the motherfucker splits in half.
Yeah.
And
they use they're both pulling at it with the Force, and it splits in half.
So, yeah, that's the point they're at. And then that was the point that Finn was at, where they're about to be executed. And with that, what happened was Benicio del Toro totally, once he realized they were caught, sold out the information that he had about the resistance ship and the escape pods to Phasma, and that's how he got out of there. And what's one thing he said? He's like, today they blow you up, tomorrow you get them.
Yeah.
This is all just business.
Yep.
And takes off with his credits.
And it kind of sucks because you're like, yeah, there's totally another episode coming out, so that'll be what that's about.
Yeah, exactly. So they start, obviously, the First Order starts targeting these smaller ships because they're told about it from Benicio del Toro. And at this point, the chick who stayed behind on that main resistance ship, one of the coolest scenes in the movie, flips a bitch.
Yeah, she turns
goes
the
to light
giant
speed,
ship around. Yeah.
Goes into light speed and just goes straight through the fleet of the First Order, busting up this ship, getting all these people who are in these situations.
Rips right through Snoke ship.
Right through. And then a few other ships behind it, too. But that's what gets everyone in that oh shit situation out of that oh shit situation.
She turned into a giant bullet.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially. And so now everything's on fire. The ship's falling apart.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to get out of there. We don't see how Rey got out, but she did.
Yeah, she did make it out.
General Hux goes and gets Kylo Ren, and seeing that Snoke is dead, it's like, then at that point it starts kind of like, who's in charge here? Is it Hux?
Well, Hux kind of was like, what have you done?
Yeah.
And then
that's our supreme leader, and he's like, no, he's fucking dead.
Yeah. He's like, not anymore.
Not anymore.
And Hux kind of gets, fucking snippy with him.
I think he took a few trips underneath the robe of Snoke. Hux. He totally went under the table.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
He got under
he
the
sucked
robes
on that thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that little deformed dick.
Yeah, probably had a lot of whiskey.
Probably. So. I mean, he did look Irish. So.
But Kylo wasn't having any of his back talk and force chokes him.
That's right. He did force choke him right there.
Until Hux calls Kylo the new supreme leader.
Yeah.
And there go. Kylo Ren is now the supreme leader of the First Order.
Mm-hmm. And then, so Finn and Asian lady escape. I really wish I remembered her name. Anyways, they get out. The remaining pods make it to this planet. Yeah. And, of course, right in tow is the First Order. So now this is the big standoff. Like, end of the movie, final scene. You have the AT-AT walkers, AT-AT walkers, whatever you want to call them.
Really cool ones with, instead of having like the feet, it looked like they were the curled hand.
Yeah, they were almost like gorilla walking.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really cool. And then they brought out this huge cannon that's the doorbuster or whatever.
Which they did say uses Death Star technology.
Yes, they did.
To get through
anything.
Yeah.
So, Last Stand... Resistance grabs these old ships that are in the bunker or whatever of this place.
This stuff is like predates New Hope technology.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like the oldest Resistance fucking station. Rebel, sorry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But so they're making their last stand.
Real quick, Finn kills Phasma.
Oh yeah. That was a good fight too. So Phasma was a badass.
When the ship gets ripped apart, Rey escapes. Kylo does too. Finn battles Captain Phasma with they both have the fucking
she has her staff. She had like her staff, and then he has that thing from Force Awakens, and they just are going at it. It was a really cool fight. And totally forgot to mention this, motherfucking BB-8 is controlling an AT-ST in there, just a little chicken leg walker with BB-8 as a head.
He's giving R2-D2 a run for his fucking money.
He is. He did some cool things.
What about the evil BB-8?
Oh, the evil BB-8.
Darth BB-8.
The Darth BB-8.
There's
That's right.
totally a Darth
He's the one who figured out that, hey, something's not right here.
So anyway, just real quick, Finn fucking eventually beats Phasma, and she falls into a thing of fire.
But not before saying, "You were always scum," and he was like, "Rebel scum."
Yes, he cloudly proclaimed. That's his moment of I'm actually not a coward anymore. Mm-hmm. So
they get to the planet. They're having to
so now they're at the planet, and they're all at the planet. Finn and his new partner in crime. Poe's down there, Leia's down there, everyone's down there, and what was really sad...
Rey was not quite down there.
Rey wasn't quite down there yet.
She was in the Falcon getting off of that ship.
Yeah, and so anyway, First Order lands, they all realize that they have this cannon, and they're like, okay, so the Resistance is like, we got to disable the cannon, that's the only way we're going to win. So they pull out these old ships. Like, these things can't even fly. They're like barely hovercrafts.
Thing to even float right.
So they make an assault on the cannon, and the AT-ATs, I don't know who wins that argument, except for there's a commercial that clearly calls them AT-ATs.
All terrain, I can't remember what it stands for.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's fiction. Fuck
there we go.
So anyway, they're making this assault on the cannon, and they totally get their asses kicked. And had the Falcon come into play yet?
When all the TIE fighters started attacking those older ships, that's when the Falcon came in.
That's when Rey came in. So Rey flies in on the fucking Falcon.
Rey and Chewie.
Yeah. And blast away a bunch of shit. They just totally kick ass. Real quick side note, too, we found out Rey's parents are nobodies. They're
Kylo
junkers.
Ren found out.
Kylo told her, your parents told you.
Because they were, like, connected, and he was like, you know this is true. Just say it.
Yeah.
Like, figure this out
I just had to say that because I know everyone thought, like, maybe Han or Obi-Wan. No. Turns out nobody. Rey is a new character from nowhere.
Yep.
Really cool.
Drug addict parents.
Snoke is a new character from nowhere.
Not Darth Plagueis.
So they were not lying when they said that was the case. So anyway, back in the moment, Rey comes in the Falcon, kind of saves the day, but the cannon is still activated. Finn decides to be a hero and does a suicide mission and flies straight into the cannon, and he's going to blow it away. Mm-hmm. And then his new friend who's been on this journey with him crashes into him. And to kick him out from
to get
doing
him out of the course.
Because at that point in time, like they're like, we're calling off the assault. Poe had learned his lesson from the first scene.
Yeah, even like, Poe, Flyboy, was like, no, let's not do this.
No, this is not worth it. And but Finn was like, I'm going to do it, blah, blah, blah.
Because there was a whole thing brought up earlier about him being a hero and him not believing it. And now he's like, this is my moment to be a hero.
So he gets stopped, and then the chick is like, she said something pretty cool. She's like, we don't win by
destroying those we hate.
Yeah, we win by protecting those we love. Yes, exactly.
And then, what'd she do? What did she do?
She fucking kissed him. She sexually assaulted Finn. An African American was sexually assaulted.
I didn't see the consent in that one, bro.
He did not consent, and he didn't look happy about it.
No, he did not.
I think he likes Rey. I think he likes her a lot.
I mean, if I had to choose between the two.
So, well, Rey is gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a cutie, man.
Yeah, and she's tough, you know?
I don't know. Tough chicks being able to beat me up. Nah, fuck it. I'm into it. Let's do this.
I was going to say, my girlfriend was in the Army.
Yeah, she beats you up all the time.
She can tell me, hey, we don't have the high ground. So anyway, so she saves Poe. They make their way back into the base. Finn. And what's sad is when you see how many people are left.
Yeah, that's what he says. Like, this is it.
Like,
not a lot.
We're literally, every other Star Wars movie you've ever seen, you've always known that there's a resistance, as in a large group of people.
Yeah, they're sending out distress beacons, and it says, like, everyone received our distress beacon, and not one person responded.
No one has come to their aid.
This is it.
There's, like, maybe, like, say, like 12, 14 people, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That pans out, and you're like, oh, they're...
I mean, there was the guys in the trenches, too.
Yeah,
so there were more, but still a very, very, very small amount. Probably like 30 people.
So Leia says, there's no more hope. The last spark is gone. And then...
Who walks in the motherfucking door?
The new Hope himself.
Mr. Luke Skywalker.
Now the old Hope. And he looks a little different, doesn't he?
He does. He's nicely trimmed. It looks like he found some hair dye.
Yeah, dyed his beard. He's not gray anymore. Cut his hair.
Looks good, though.
Yeah, looks good. Looks sturdy.
Good.
And he sees Leia, and Leia's all like, makes kind of a crack about her hair being different. And he kisses her. It's really sweet.
On the forehead. It wasn't that whole incestual thing.
No incest.
Yeah.
No incest. Thank God they learned.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna go take care of this guy.
Yeah, let's go talk to Kylo right now.
Yeah. And
so
Kylo has an
right
army.
There. Yep. Pause right there.
Yeah.
Who convinced Luke to go there? To do that thing, to help out? Who convinced him?
Fucking Yoda!
Fucking Yoda.
I was like, who the fuck you talking? Yes, Yoda is in this fucking movie.
Old Hermit Yoda.
Not your fucking cheesy CGI who Kevin and I have complained about
Straight
in the
up
past.
Frank Oz puppet Yoda.
Yeah, they blow up the... God, there's so much shit. This movie has so much in it that I don't even think one podcast can fucking do it. Like, there's a bunch of ancient Jedi text.
Yeah, he gets pissed off about the text. He's gonna burn him down. He being Luke.
Luke is over the Jedi. He's gonna end it. He's gonna burn down this tree that contains...
And this is all right after his confrontation with Rey.
Right. Yeah. So he's gonna burn down this tree that has inside of it the books that are the ancient Jedi texts and teachings.
The first time we saw paper in Star Wars.
Yes. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the first instance of paper.
And Yoda plays on the theme of the movie where he says, just because you're the master doesn't mean anyone who comes after you is you. They are building off of you.
The downfall of the master is that your apprentice is going to bypass you.
Yeah, and my favorite pun, or not pun, but what Yoda said, he's like, have you read the Jedi text? Page turners, they are not. Page turners, they are not. So he cracks a joke, and then...
He tells Luke to do it.
Yeah, well, Luke is kind of like hesitant, and then Yoda just waves his hand.
And lightning comes down and blows the tree up.
So you think that's the end of all ancient Jedi religion. So yeah, Yoda convinces Luke, though, like, hey, your fight's not done.
You need to help.
You need to
help
go.
Rey.
Yeah. And so Luke, fast forward, he decides to take on the First Order by himself.
Solo. Straight up.
And no pun intended. So he walks out, calls out Kylo, burn! And then the fucking army of AT-ATs.
Yeah, dude, he's straight up like, everything we have, shoot on him.
Yeah, Kylo gives the order, every gun point at him and shoot. And so Luke's surrounded by these things, and they unload.
They unload like a motherfucker.
What was your... Because, okay, so, like, real quick, I had a friend spoil everything for me because I love shit being spoiled. You didn't know that he survived that, right?
No, I didn't.
So what was your...
I mean,
I got to know that because I knew he was.
I'm not a complete idiot, so I knew he would have survived it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what their explanation was going to be.
Yeah.
But straight up, all this firepower happening, and then the dust settles.
It was like a minute 30 of just...
Yeah, straight up.
And like, even Hux is like, hey, I think you got him.
Did you think you got him?
Yeah.
And the smoke clears, and there he is. And
he gets out of the...
off his motherfucking shoulder, dude.
So he climbs out of the little crater that was made.
That's right, because there's so much firepower.
Yeah, and then like nothing's wrong with him. He's completely fine. And then he dusts off his shoulder like
a fucking G, dog.
Yeah. And so Kylo at that point in time decides to handle shit himself.
Yeah, he's like, let me down.
Yeah.
Let's land this thing and leave.
And Hux oh my God. Hux warns him, like, do you think we're getting a little distracted here? There's kind of a mission. And Kylo's like, no, fuck that. This is the guy we got to kill.
Fucking throws him across the ship.
At that point in time, everyone kind of realizes, oh, Luke isn't going to stop them. Luke is buying us time. So they're like, there has to be a way out.
There's some way, because there's all these little crystal dogs on this planet, and they just look around, they're like, well, where'd the dogs go?
Yeah.
How'd they get out?
Yeah, because they think they're trapped. According to the scan that BB-8...
or whatever.
Yeah, the schematic that BB-8 did, there's no way out of the fortress they're in except for where the AT-ATs are. So they're like, oh, I think there is another way out. They find a way out, sort of.
It's completely blocked, though.
Yeah, and then who pulls up?
Rey.
And what does Rey say?
Lift boulders.
Lift boulders, yeah. With the Force, so she lifts boulders. They escape, So the whole plan works. Luke is like,
he's distracting them.
yeah, and then
him and Kylo have this big conversation, this back and forth.
Yeah.
And
and Luke apologizes. He's like, I failed you.
Yeah, I failed you, and I'm sorry.
And then Kylo's like, you think you're gonna save me? And Luke's like, no. Like, Luke is convinced that he is beyond saving.
You're done. But then Kylo Ren busts out his lightsaber.
Yeah.
Luke busts out his blue lightsaber. Very odd.
But we find out why.
So then they attack each other, and
well, sort of.
Well, he attacks Luke, and Luke fucking Matrix dodges and somersaults and everything. They never make contact.
They never touch once.
Until after the final conversation they have, he says almost exactly, Luke says to Kylo Ren almost exactly what Obi-Wan said to Vader when Vader killed him. Essentially saying, if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can imagine, essentially. So, he said, you will never get rid of me just like you'll never be rid of your father that you killed. Yeah. Straight up, hitting him deep. Yeah. So, Kylo Ren charges and puts his lightsaber straight through Luke.
Just cuts right through him.
Right through the middle. Darth Maul's his ass. Yeah. But what happened?
Turns around.
Nothing happened.
Luke's like, excuse me.
Yeah. Pardon me, sir. That was my nice suit.
Yeah.
So then he tries to stab him.
Well, he walks up and he kind of knows something's weird, and he just sinks his lightsaber right through Luke.
And you see that Luke is a fucking apparition.
He is not even a hologram. He is and then it fucking shows him in the lotus position on the island,
floating on this rock,
just meditating. He force projected himself across the fucking universe, battled Kylo in some of the coolest martial arts I've ever seen a Jedi do. Luke, okay, so if you listen to any of the other episodes, I have bitched about that I never thought a boss acted like a boss in Star Wars. I'm always like, they always fell short of being a badass. Luke did not fall short. Luke was a total fucking badass. And then he's just,
dude, it was epic as shit.
He's total Jesus, just like.
And then right before Kylo Ren's eyes, the image of Luke just disappears.
Yeah, it just dissipates, and Kylo's like, oh shit.
This motherfucker. And then he just had this moment. I literally just let my emotions get the best of me.
Yeah.
Hux was right. Holy shit. And now all these people are gone.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to Luke on the island, and he's sitting on the rock. And what do we hear? That fucking classic fucking dual sunset theme with the two suns. Yeah. And they're setting.
There's two suns setting.
Just like New Hope, him looking out on the horizon.
The first time we see Luke, or not the first time, but the most dramatic scene with Luke in the beginning, and then the dramatic scene with him.
Because what happened? He
doesn't even die. He just says,
he said, I'm done.
He cries, and he fades, and he's gone.
And he's dead.
And then Rey at the end tells Leia, Luke's gone. And she's like, I know, I felt it. And then she's like, but he's at peace. I actually felt like he was happy. And then you're like, that's where fucking this Star Wars is better writing-wise than a lot of the others, because he's...
I think he was the first one, wasn't he? First Skywalker, at least?
Yeah, he's technically the first Skywalker we've ever met. But, this moment, they captured the beginning and the end, because he's no longer, worried about his involvement on what's going to happen. He was just, he just kind of has faith, and he's like, I'm done, whatever happens is beyond me.
I passed on the things that somebody needs to learn.
And I will say this, I think
how Yoda died.
He was the best Jedi Master out of all of them. He was the wisest by far, even over Yoda.
I wouldn't say he was the wisest, because Yoda was still schooling him. Because he needed convincing to even do it in the first place.
No, you're right, because Yoda did go at peace too. Yoda went the same exact way Yoda did. Oh my God, I didn't even realize.
The exact same way Yoda did.
Oh, shit.
He passed on what he was meant to do, and his goal in life was done.
Yeah, and that was it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, though, as I was like, after you defeat the Empire and Vader, what are you going to do next?
I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
Going to go be a hermit on an island.
So, and then the last scene of the movie, which a scene we kind of jumped over, was when Finn and his chick were on this, planet where all the gambling was happening. They freed a bunch of, animals being used for racing.
Slavery.
And there was slavery, and they felt bad.
There was little kid slaves, and in order to convince them to help them, she threw them a ring, which had the Rebel Alliance logo on it. which I thought was cool. It wasn't a resistance; it was Rebel Alliance.
And so the kid at the end of the movie's last scene
There's the Falcons flying away, and they fucking fast forward over to this place where the kids are playing their game.
Yeah.
Like
They're slaves. They're slave kids,
and they were like telling the story, like of
Luke
Skywalker. Yeah, they're playing with little Luke Skywalker toy that they made, and of course their slave owner just busts in, fucking yelling at them in some fucking weird ass language, basically telling them to go do their shit.
Yeah.
And the little boy, he walks out, and nonchalant as fuck.
Yeah.
He's about to sweep this fucking deck or whatever, and he just uses the Force to pick up this broom.
A child.
Yeah. The youngest one we've seen.
And it makes you realize that when Luke said... So there's this scene when Kylo's like, the Resistance is dead, the Jedi are dead, or the Jedi are gone, and something. And Luke's like, says what he said to Rey. He's like, funny. Everything you just said was 100% wrong. Mm-hmm. He's like, I am not the Last Jedi. Which makes you think, oh, Rey is next. But what this movie leaves off is...
Okay, yeah.
What this movie leaves you off with is the Jedi are going to be back, and Rey, I think, is going to be...
And in greater numbers.
I think Rey's going to, train. We could have a whole nother podcast about where it's going to go from here. Mm-hmm. But bottom line is Luke Skywalker died. Leia's still alive. She got away. Mm-hmm. So we don't know how that's going to work out.
No, I don't
Rest
know
in peace, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, dude. Hell drugs.
But yeah, bottom line is really good fucking movie. Original. It was not any other Star Wars plot.
No, it wasn't a ripoff of Empire Strikes Back.
No.
Like I was afraid of.
It actually... So I asked my buddy when he was spoiling it for me, I'm like, did it leave on a sad note? And he's like, yeah, it's just like every middle of the trilogy, it kind of leaves off in a sadder note. And then I was like... More
like not sad, but helpless.
But this one, because the Resistance is pretty much done.
They're fucked.
They're like 10 people now. But that kid looking off into the stars as they closed out the movie, I'm like, that is hope. Like,
exactly. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So, bottom line, it was a really great fucking movie. That was our breakdown of it. Highly recommended. I think we're gonna see it probably at least 10 more times.
Yeah, probably.
So,
we'll probably hate it by the end of that. We're going to do another podcast saying how we were wrong in all these parts.
His fucking lightsaber duels were weak, bro. I need more lightsabers in the next one.
I do, too.
Like, a little bit more.
I need an epic fight.
We didn't have one actual... No, we had one duel. That wasn't even a duel. It was kind of they were both
fighting those other people.
Yeah.
And then the pseudo duel between... Luke and Kylo, but that wasn't anything at all either.
So that's it. That's our breakdown of Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Let us know what you thought about the movie. Like, if you hated it, let us know.
I gotta know why people hate it. I heard it was too campy, and it was very...
It's fucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Name a Star Wars movie that isn't fucking campy.
Rogue One. No, it has its campy moments.
No, I was sitting there going, like, just played the entire movie in my head. I was like, oh, fuck, is there? Oh, yeah, there's totally campy moments.
Yeah, there was way campy moments. I thought it was great. Yeah, tell us why if you don't think it was, and then take that opinion, roll it up in a tight little fucking, just a tight piece of paper and shove it up your ass.
Cool, and then I will use my really strong tongue to get it out of there.
We are pro eating ass.
We are.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. This has been a bonus episode of There Can Be Only One. We will have...
Exactly. We are going to have our normal There Can Be Only One duel that is posted up as well. So
Jesus Christ versus Santa Claus for episode 4.
Christmas special.
We had to do this one first because, like, that's all we can talk about because we just saw this fucking movie.
We need to get it out of our system.
Yeah.
I thought we reviewed that movie from front to back pretty well.
Yeah. I think we covered it. I mean, we kind of glossed over the Finn part, but that was kind of the weakest part of the movie.
It absolutely was, except for Benicio. Benicio del Toro was amazing in that movie with his little stutter. It was good.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and have a good week. Have a good holiday.
May the Force be with you.